Hello, my name is Joe Standard, and this is my Module 1 introduction for AEP 855. So, a little bit about myself first. I am a teacher at Winfield High School. We have about a population of 700 students. I teach ninth grade ELA mainly. This year we've had new principals, so it's been kind of interesting to see their experience and learning and everything, kind of give me an idea of how it's going to be for me once I become a building administrator as well. So I think it's really interesting that we're able to learn from each other, and I'm able to see, growth and success for these new administrators. I'm also an ESU alum. This is my seventh year of teaching. Seven great years, I should say. I have an amazing dog. His name is Admiral. We rescued him about a year ago, just as sweet as can be. And I'm also getting married in June, so it's very exciting times around here right now. So first off, when talking about three different mindsets from the reading, I learned that all students can learn, teachers collaboration over isolation, and happiness and optimism. So something that I learned about all students can learn, well, this is really a core belief. I've always had this belief um, ever since I started teaching. If we don't believe in this, our system fails. What are we doing then if we don't believe that all students can learn? Are we just babysitting, or are we trying to do a social good? I do believe that we all work for the betterment of our students, and we need to work together to ensure student success. And we can't do that when we're isolated. We have to go out and we have to work together. We have to collaborate, and that's a lot of stuff that we're doing right now within our building. Happiness and optimism. I think if staff and students are not happy and optimistic, then the environment is tainted. It creates this environment in which, you know, each and every individual hates being there. They don't have this vigor and vitalization to come in and do their best. Five types of dispositions that was gone into was confidence, being a risk taker and decisive, and having a sense of humor. You have to be confident, and you have to keep in mind what's best for students. So you have to, be confident in your decisions, be confident in how you react to things. You also have to be a risk taker. You can't say that, I don't want to take risk. I want to play it safe. You have to take risks, especially if you're looking at trying something new, something different, something that data says, maybe we should be trying this. Because if it doesn't work, well, it's the first attempt in learning. So we can't be afraid to fail, but we have to make that decision. We can't just tiptoe in and out. We have to be decisive and we have to be forceful with it. And also, you have to have a sense of humor. You have to find humor in things to ensure that you have a good environment and that your personal health is in check as well. Because you don't want, the dredges of in and out work, to wear you down to where you just don't like doing what you're doing anymore. Continue with the dispositions. You have to be empathetically assertive and you have to be a learner. You have to understand different points of views. You can't just go in and think, this is how I see things, this is how it's going to be done. You have to be able to see from different points of view, so you have that chance to move forward and have understand, how other people look at situations. It's always going to be different than you, but you also have to be assertive in saying, time's up. We are going to do this, but you also have to have that insight into how others may react to it as well. And as a learner, come on, in education, we have to be continuously learning. If we're not learning and growing, we're stagnant. We're in one spot. We can't continue that way. So as a leader, we have to continue learning. We have to continue understanding, what's coming over the horizon, what issues are about to hit us, what new and awesome, techniques should we use. Um, Now, three types of practices that were mentioned: focus and prioritizing, examining feedback and data, and emotional intelligence. We got to prioritize our time around goals and objectives. We can't just spend all our time doing one thing or the other. We have to be able to work around our goals and objectives so that we are being most effective that we can be. We need to always be looking for data to help make an impact, get your bang for your buck. We have to look at this data. We got to see what we're doing, how we're affecting these students. We have to use that data effectively, and we have to share that with the stakeholders as well, whether that is the teachers, the board members, or the people within the community. our data needs to be shared and we need to reflect on that data. We need to give feedback on it, what we're seeing, what we understand. Okay. And emotional intelligence, we have to treat people with dignity and respect. We got to know how to work a room. We need to make people feel that they are the most important person that we're talking to at any given moment and that our attention is on them and we respect what they have to say. The eight principles of ethical leadership, we have personal courage, public interest, self-control, discipline, integrity, and task and employee centeredness. I agree that we need to have personal courage. We need to take a stand for our students. There's no way around that. Have to be advocates for our students and for our staffs. So we have to have that courage to take those chances, to stick up for them. Public interest, the needs of the school community, the students, the staff, always outweighs the needs of the leader. That always goes first. You should never put yourself before your teachers and your students. It's like putting the cart before the horse. You can't do that. You got to have self-control and discipline and integrity as well. Relationships should be built on respect and actions. Okay, not just you have to respect me. Task and employee centeredness. There should be a balance, should be made between the needs of the students and the needs of the staff. It shouldn't be in one direction or the other way. There needs to be that balance because then if it's out of balance, then it looks like we're not serving students or we are not, recognizing our teachers. And with recognizing talent, we need to recognize those people. We need to put them in a light that, or magnify what they do so others know their greatness and that we can utilize that greatness as well, whether that's teachers or students. We also have to have high ethics for everyone. We have to create a culture that you expect everyone to live up to, whether that's the students, the staff, community members. We have to get this set so we all follow it so we have a better way of improving our school system. Right? Sensitivity and understanding, we must be able to see the different viewpoints and understand them. We cannot just make decisions based off of how we feel. We have to look at someone who may or may not agree with what we have to say. Inclusiveness, decisions should be made with the input of all stakeholders. This creates respect and trust, and you can get more done to support student growth. So, kind of critiquing my own type of mindset, you know, as I said beforehand, I believe all students can learn. That is essentially my mantra, that all students can learn no matter what. I teach a lot of remedial classes, and I'm always saying, you know what? All students can learn. What are we learning today? Okay. Teacher collaboration, I feel like, given a chance, I'm always willing to collaborate with people in my department. I do know that I need to collaborate more outside my department, get out of my comfort zone, and work with other people within the school, whether that's with administration or with different contents. Happiness and optimism, this prior year it was a little rocky, but this year, I'm starting to look at things a little bit different. I'm starting to get that happiness back in, that optimism. I know that, if you don't have that happiness and optimism, your your whole culture just sours, and you have to have a culture that is built on, that we can work together, that happiness can be achieved, and be optimistic. Because, like I said, if not, the culture sours, and people, it's just such a terrible culture to be in. So, a personal critique on my dispositions, confidence. Yes, I struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes that's, me trying to get out of my shell, but I just can't do it. I'm getting better at it day by day. I just got to keep at it. I love taking risks and seeing what works. That's always been kind of my thing. Once I get to a point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. Let's go. And just hold on, see what happens. If I fail, I fail. I learn from it and I go back and I try something different. But sometimes I can be a little bit indecisive. I don't know which direction I want to go sometimes. Sense of humor, I always try to find the humor in things. You have to try to. Being empathetically assertive, I think empathy is very important. You have to be able to put yourself in somebody else's position to get an understanding of what's going on, how certain things affect other people. Sometimes I feel like I might be too empathetic though, and I need to work on my assertiveness. As a learning, as a learner, I know that I'm taking classes, I'm going to workshops, I'm networking, I'm trying to get myself out there to learn and to expand as a leader. For Ethical leadership, with personal courage, public interest, self-control. You know, I try to, with personal courage, put myself out there to work with others too. Public interest, public interest and self-interest. I try to always put forth, what's going to be more beneficial for my students and for how they're going to go about things. Task-centeredness, I try to do that as much as I can. I want to work more with that. Recognizing talent, I know as a teacher I need to work on that, and I know I'll have to work on that more as an administrator. Um, Inclusiveness, I always strive for inclusiveness, though sometimes it doesn't really flow that way. So, kind of, how does all this fit together? Well, I kind of broke this down a little bit. You cannot you cannot come into a school or a district and act like what you say is the way it is. You have to be able to work with different groups, different mindsets, and you can't just say this is how it is. Doesn't mean that you can't, have a plan and say we're going to do this. You still need that input, yes, and you can still do that plan, but you have that ability to tweak it and work with others, try to sell your ideas. You have to take into account other people. You have to ensure that everyone feels respected and that they are important, and they should feel important. You have to fight for your students and your staff. You can't just roll over and just go with what is said that this is how it's got to be done. You can find ways to work within that system. You have to be the best you that you can be. Put your best self out there for others to see and to model after, because we are public figures and we're going to be the ones that are seen a lot. And you have to grow to ensure that your school is a success, whether that's with your teachers or your students. Well, I want to thank you for watching. I know it's a little bit long and I do apologize, but I can't wait to see how this class goes. Can't wait to see some of your guys' videos. So go ahead and have a great day.